customer experience and I think customer service, that has to be at the core of each and every service provider in this particular bank. That is the most important piece of service, or when we recruit a particular person in today's world, that is the first thing that we need to ensure. That yes, if a bank has to survive, your service standard differentiates you and it has to be the best. And that is the only way we can ensure that your customer sticks to you, because nowadays the younger generation, the new generation, they're not necessarily the people who will stick to a bank. They'll continue to move around. But how do you make sure that they continue with the bank? How do you make sure that yes, they like you, they like the bank, they continue with it? It's the service which differentiates you. So that's why service is at the very, very highest level. What is it that we do to make sure that we instill this across the staff and across the people, across our colleagues who work for us? Especially for me, if you look at me, we run a service, back office service. That is, our main customers first is the bank staff, the front end, and then the end customer. So our job becomes even more difficult because we don't face the customers directly, but we are supporting those people who are facing the customer directly. So our time to reply to a particular issue which comes to us, which ultimately goes back to the customer, is very, very important. So we got to make sure that our staff understands that. How quickly can I go back to my front end and with the right answer? Even if I don't have the answer immediately, do I tell them that I don't have the answer? No, I tell them that yes, give me a while. I'll get back to you in a while. But you cannot say that no, I don't know about it, go back to someone else. That is a no-no. That is where the ownership comes. And if you say that I am passing it on to someone else for doing this job, you don't exist in my department. That is the message that my team has. And it is a very, very clear message from day one saying that customer service is the utmost importance. And my customers are my internal customers. You've got to say that yes, I will help you. You will not tell them that no, I'll go and ask someone else to help you. That doesn't work. Ownership is if you look at that particular word itself, the ownership, we own so many things personally, at home, everywhere. So the ownership is very close to yourself. And you will feel that you have owned something only when you will feel happy about it after you have done it. Like say for example, if someone has asked you to help out or asked you for something and you have done it and you felt very happy about it, saying that, oh, yes, I was able to satisfy this customer. And that feeling inside you, till such time you get that feeling inside you saying that yes, I have owned it, I have done something for my customer and I have made him happy or made her happy. That is the time your ownership is complete. Otherwise, your ownership is not complete. During this COVID-19 and also this small debacle that we had as a part of our core consideration upgrade, one of the main things that we observed was how do we satisfy our customers? How do we make sure that the customer is not left out and the customer is not feeling that no, we have forgotten about them? Because yes, we had a big issue. Customers had plenty of problems. But how do we cope with it? So this is where teamwork, ownership comes into play. This is where people did not have a chance of going back and saying that no guys, you cannot do it. No, I'm working from home today. No, I'm working somewhere else today. I cannot do it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work that way anymore. Even in COVID-19, for those particular first few days when we really had the bank in, the bank had to support their customers at the highest level, 24/7. People did not say, no, it's COVID-19, so I'm not going to come to office. Everybody was here. Yes, we maintained our social distancing. Yes, we maintained our wearing our masks, etc., etc. But at the same time, we knew that distant support will not work. We had to be together to make sure that even if I did not know something, I was able to consult with someone else and finish it right away there and then. So this is the sort of ownership of an issue. I think Shane had made a comment in one of the EXCO updates, which was very close. He says that we as a bank seems to be very, very strong when you are managing crisis. And we took it as the entire team who was supporting this post-Code Go Live issues felt very happy about it because of the CEO was acknowledging that, saying that yes, he thought this particular team was very good in a crisis situation. But we don't want to be that. We want to go beyond that. And we want to make sure that yes, we are not only a crisis management team, but we are a team who looks at customer service very, 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 very strongly and carries on with that. So that will be my message. I think we got to be cognizant of another fact, that is knowledge, So knowledge under any circumstances, you cannot do away with that. So obviously, but at the same time, when a people comes and joins a bank or a new industry, of course they're not aware exactly. So they don't know the nitty-gritties of the things. Say for example, a new fresh graduate comes in and starts working in a bank. So what does he do? What does he know about banking? Not much, but they have to learn. So number one, we'll have to instill in that what sort of training programs do we give them to make sure that they start learning? What sort of a role do they get into initially to understand that overall banking is understood? Once upon a time in the olden days, when we started banking, we used to have generalist bankers. That is, we knew more or less everything about a bank because banking was very generic that time. But now with digitization, this banking has become more and more complicated, or I would say siloed. That is, you don't have generic bankers anymore. So you have verticals, you have treasury experts, you have trade experts, you have this expert, that expert. So every vertical of the banking industry or the financial industry has changed. Retail banking has become totally digital. So the customers are more digital and online rather than they're coming to you face to face. When do they come face to face to you? Only when they really have a problem and they cannot sort it out digitally. And that is the time they need this particular service and experience. So ideally, if I am allowed to say this, is my service team who services or supports a customer, they got to be the best of the lot. So I should not be hiding the best of the lot in maybe a processing work or somewhere else, but they should be the people who's resolving my problems for me. So if I have 10 people, out of which I have 4 of them who are very, very experienced, those 4 people I'll keep for my customer service issues because they know the entire banking premises, what happens, their experience, and they know how to deal with the customer. They'll know and they'll be in a position to give a solution to that customer immediately. Or if not immediately, they'll be able to give them a holding reply saying that, okay, do this, I'll come back to you within this. That is very, very important. And that is where I come from. So knowledge is bliss. It is. And especially from a customer service perspective, where a customer calls today, he generally, if we start understanding it this way, that the customer knows more than me, and it's generally the case. He always knows more than me because it's his problem he's trying to resolve. So he already knows where the problem is, right? So he comes to you and asks for a solution to a problem that he has, which you still don't know. So you've got to be knowledgeable enough to understand, okay, what does this problem mean to him and how quickly do I need to resolve it? So knowledge is very important and there is no limit to knowledge and you'll have to continue to learn and continue to learn. The more you know, the better for us. An example of a personal customer experience where I really liked something, like in back home, my mother stays with me here. So she's around 90 years old and she has a little bit of dementia also. Every year, because she gets a pension from the country, so we have to send a living certificate back home. And that living certificate is done by a particular bank who has an office here. So every year what I have to do is I have to take her out, go to that particular office, fill up a form, show her passport, show her visa, etc., and they'll certify on that form. It was quite, painful, and every year I had to take more or less half a day holiday to go over there and get that job done. So one of those guys one day asked me, saying that, okay, so she has a problem, so why do you come here? I said, to get my certificate. That's the only way she'll get a pension. So I was told, sorry, you don't have to come. So next year, when you have to do this, call us up. This is my number, this is my name. Even if I am not there, someone else will be there. So call us, we will come home. We'll come to your house and we'll get it done for you. The same thing. I said, are you sure? Because this happens only once a year. I said, he said, try us. So next year I actually called. I had kept that number. I called. The same person was still available. And believe me, he gave me a time and date. The next day, on a Friday, they came over in the morning, did that certificate. And since then, for the last 5 or 6 years, that's all I'm doing. So, the satisfaction that we got from that, okay, this is the way they look at their customers, and this is the way they have looked at it. And it's a State Bank of India, which is not necessarily known for their services. But it is the person who told me. There was no reason for him to tell me, because I had gone with my mom over there to get it done. So I was really happy, and I really liked that particular incident. I remember that. I own it. Do you?